Hello, this is a presentation for Professor Young, Huma 1302 from Marjorie Ramos Cell, 6 balloons. Who are you? I'm your brother, and you love me so much. What current problems are shown and represented in the movie Six Balloons? Six balloons. You can see the problems found that are the psychology of addictions, opioid crisis, and family relationships. I found information about substance use and abuse from the Diagnostical and Treatment book number 5, the National Institute of Addictions, and the legal and illegal drugs. The features that we found from the movie are the narrative, the costumes, the music, the blocking, the setting, and these are the cinematographic topics. Um, then we talk about the opioids crisis, the impact in the US and in the world. Looking closely at six balloons, one can find evidence of the psychology of addictions, the opioid crisis, and family relationships. This is the contextual analysis. So these are the three factors: the addictions, the opioids crisis, and the family. The addictions, you can see that uh, for the National Institute of Addictions, it's a health multi-factor condition for Fredman, which is the biological and environmental factors. Drugs change the brain structure of the neurons, and addiction is defined in terms of symptoms, time of the use of the substance, social and occupational issues, and the urge to use it. And then for opioid crisis, you can find legal opioids or prescribed by physicians to manage physical pain, or illegal opioid such as the fentanyl and heroin. The first opioid crisis as a public health problem started back in 1920 in the United States. Opioids are the second drug more used after marijuana. From 1999 to 2023, 806,000 deaths from overdose. And then the family is a group of people who have similar characteristics and live in one home. Diversity is common to found nowadays for different reasons, such as women working outside their homes, LGBTI plus population, new regulations and different cultures, as well as different types of families, including monoparental. People with addictions is affected that the family they belong to, and they affect the family they are part of. So this is the textual analysis. You can see the three elements: the psychology of addictions, the opioid crisis and addictions and family. For the psychology of addictions, you can see the character development where he shows physical symptoms and emotional pain and suffering. The behavioral symptoms are aggressiveness, talking, the way they look, and facial expressions show sadness and suffering most of the time. You can hear drama music, and there is an audiobook at the background during the whole movie with a metaphor in telling the story of herself, of, of her, of his sister. These elements show the psychology of addictions as the effects of addiction in the brain, the behaviors and emotions that coincides with the facts of the scientific literature. The opioid crisis, you can find the character development, the change of behavior before taking heroin and after the heroin, from suffering to excitement, urgency of taking heroin. The narrative, when people see him in the party, all of them judge him for his behavior with avoidance attitudes toward him. His sister receives critiques from her parents, friends, and her boyfriend for helping him. The setting, the use of cyanide to apply the intravenous heroin, the dark place full of homeless people looking for drugs, the drugstore full of drugs and with a dirty bathroom, and people understanding what happens and being judgmental instead of supportive, the addiction centers that do not receive him. This shows a part of the opioid crisis by showing the problem in a society who does not want to admit responsibility nor support to people affected by the opioid crisis. The only person who is supporting him is asked to stop doing it. It seems that nobody cares and probably do not know that anyone could be the next. And for the addictions and family, the character development, the feeling of loneliness of the siblings. His daughter is a victim of addiction, and you can see lack of support. The appearance, the little girl's hair is not calm. She seems to try to understand the situation rather than having her own normal demands for her age. Families and friends of her are dressed up for a party that is happening, making up that nothing is really wrong under the happy family frame. Food is also something that shows celebration and reunion. These shows relate to the problem of addiction as something to hide and put apart. These families together for the good moments but ignore in the difficult circumstances. The film shows the neglect toward the little girl, who will probably develop an addiction as well um, as any other type of problem. Nobody seems to take really care about it. No intervention programs. What current problems are shown and represented in the movie Six Balloons? The film Six Balloons shows in the three problems: the psychology of addiction, the opioid crisis, and addictions and family in the cinematographic elements, such as narrative, costume, music, setting, and character development. Addiction is a topic shown in Six Balloons. It is something that we are all exposed to. We are in a society in crisis of addictions, including the opioids crisis that is affecting families with members with addictions and in the risk of death. We all need to be aware of these risks and what to do in front of the crisis. These are the words cited for this presentation. Thank you so much for listening.